The day Yu Xiang gets out of prison, a guard tells her, "There's something you should know. Your husband abandoned your child." Yu Xiang asks, "Abandoned? That heartless monster. I'll kill him." The guard says, "What are you saying? You just walked out of prison, and you're already talking like a criminal. Did these 2 years teach you nothing?" This woman is Yu Xiang. She was just an ordinary housewife. She had a lovely but deaf daughter and a useless husband to pay for her daughter's cochlear implant. She made bad choices. She turned to crime. For selling illegal videos, she got 2 years in prison. She thought life would go back to normal after prison, but those 2 years changed her completely. They changed her whole life. She remembers her first day in prison. The roll call scene still haunts her. The guard calls each name. Each prisoner raises their hand in reply. But when the guard calls Mary, the guard's expression changes. The guard says, "Mary, stand up." Mary replies, "Yes." "How many children did you sell?" Mary answers, 6. Deng Hong says, "Look at me. Do you have children of your own?" Mary answers, "Yes." "Aren't you afraid of karma?" Yu Xiang feels disgusted. She thinks people who sell children are heartless. Then Deng Hong continues the roll call. When she calls Heimei, there's no response. Heimei sits in the back staring blankly ahead. She seems lost in her own world. Deng Hong walks up to her. She gently taps Heimei's shoulder. She motions for her to stand up, but Heimei only keeps gesturing. She doesn't speak. Yu Xiang speaks up. "I know some sign language. What do you want to say to her?" "I can translate." Deng Hong tells Yu Xiang to stand. Because of her daughter, Yu Xiang learned some sign language. She never thought it would be useful here. Now Yu Xiang acts as the translator. Later she learns the girl's name is Heimei. Everyone calls her Heimei. She's just like Yu Xiang's daughter. Heimei is also deaf and mute. She can't even read. Later Yu Xiang and Heimei are put in the same group with the trafficker. They are sent to the notorious Cell 9. Before they can settle in, Hu Ping, the leader of Cell 9, shows off her tattooed arm. She says they must memorize the prison rules in 3 days. She adds one more rule. Hu Ping hates snoring. She warns them, "If anyone snores, they must wait until I fall asleep first." Yes. Her sharp eyes scan everyone. Her gaze is like a knife. Heimei can't hear, so Yu Xiang explains in sign language. But Heimei smirks and gives a mocking look. She even makes a rude gesture. Hu Ping notices something is off. She growls, "What are you saying?" Yu Xiang replies, "She says she understands." Hu Ping glares at Heimei. Heimei stares back without fear. Her stubborn look makes Yu Xiang find her interesting. Luckily, Hu Ping doesn't push further. She just gives all the cleaning work for the next week to the 3 new inmates. The rules in this prison are simply about the strong bullying the weak. The child trafficker probably wants to scare the new girls first. She throws Yu Xiang and Heimei's bedding onto the top bunk. Her eyes are full of challenge. Yu Xiang can't take this. She throws the trafficker's bedding on the floor instead. Seeing Yu Xiang fight back, the trafficker attacks her. But Yu Xiang fights back hard. She slaps the trafficker twice. Soon they're pushing each other and then fighting seriously. Heimei sees Yu Xiang getting hurt, so she joins the fight. She holds the trafficker down. Yu Xiang swings her arm and slaps the trafficker's face. She hits and curses, "How dare you sell children? I'll beat you to death." When the trafficker is almost beaten up, Hu Ping slowly walks over. She tells others to pull them apart. Then she calls the guard. The guard asks who started the fight. Hu Ping says she didn't see. Clearly, Yu Xiang says firmly that the trafficker started it. The trafficker's face is bruised. She's the one at fault again. Officer Deng is pleased. She puts the woman in solitary confinement as punishment. Because of this incident, Officer Deng Hong becomes interested in Yu Xiang and Heimei. Deng Hong asks Yu Xiang why she did online sex shows since she's already married. Yu Xiang replies, "I needed money. I wanted to buy a cochlear implant for my daughter." Deng Hong asks, "How much does it cost?" 200,000 yuan. "What does your husband do?" "My husband is disabled. He can't work." Deng Hong doesn't understand why pretty Yu Xiang married a disabled man. Yu Xiang explains it was an arranged marriage. Her disabled brother married her husband's sister, so her family forced her to marry the disabled man in return. At first, she worked as a cashier in an internet cafe to earn money. There she met a man who promised to help her make more money. She trusted him. He said he would show her how to earn big. She foolishly believes him. She follows him into a rented room. Every time he visits, he brings her a cup of milk tea. That small kindness makes her mistake it for love. The first 20,000 yuan she earns in her life comes from him. Deng Hong says, "If he loved you, would he make you do this?" That 20,000 yuan was earned by selling your body. And he took most of the money, didn't he? Yuexiang listens silently. She knows Deng Hong is right, but back then very few people would share money with her. Deng Hong asks about Heimei. With Yuexiang translating, they learn Heimei just turned 18 this year. She was sentenced to 2 years for theft. Deng Hong lowers her head. She stays silent for a long time. Then Deng Hong asks Yuexiang about her skills. Yuexiang says she can dance. She can do striptease. Deng Hong gets angry. Deng Hong says, "What kind of place is this? Who are you stripping for?" Compared to Yuexiang's skills, Heimei's talent seems more innocent. Heimei moves her hands. In the sunlight, lifelike animal shadows appear on the ground from her hands. But these skills were actually developed from stealing. Now, in this prison, her hands finally have a better purpose. The next day, Deng Hong selects 12 female prisoners with different talents for the Mid-Autumn Family Visitation Day. She forms a sunflower performance team. Both Yuexiang and Heimei are chosen. Deng Hong reminds them to cherish this opportunity. Rehearsals mean no factory work and good performances can reduce their sentences. But on the first training day, Hu Ping tries to cause trouble. She says Heimei is mute and can't sing, so she should be kicked out. Deng Hong scolds Hu Ping. Immediately the instructor explains this is a performance with singing that includes dance-like sign language moves. Deng Hong says, "Stop showing off." Hu Ping doesn't just show off, she's also sneaky. She often sings and dances in the dorm. Someone asks if she often goes to karaoke. Hu Ping proudly says she has karaoke at home and doesn't need to go out. Hu Ping tells us her family owns a tobacco factory. They supply leaves for Huangalu and Tianxia cigarettes. They make tens of millions a year. They're the biggest taxpayers in their town. But someone notices her prison account only has 59 yuan left. She says her dad cut off her allowance as punishment because she picked up bad habits. Everyone thinks she's a rich girl now and starts sucking up to her. But Yuexiang notices Heimei's prison account has way more money than Hu Ping's. Yuexiang asks, "How do you have so much?" Someone replies, "You wouldn't get it. Gang rules. Stolen stuff goes to the boss. They send 2,000 a year in prison." Yuexiang says, "That's so loyal." "Not really. They just want to keep you hooked. After release, you'll have to work for them." Yuexiang sees Heimei has money but keeps searching the shopping list and can't find what she wants. Yuexiang asks, "What are you looking for?" Heimei signs that she wants candy. It helps her sleep better. Yuexiang teases her about it, but she quietly remembers this in her heart. With everyone working together, their practice improves quickly. The cafeteria even serves braised pork, a rare treat they haven't had in half a year. After one practice session, Yuexiang suddenly feels dizzy. She collapses to the ground. Everyone gathers around worried. Yuexiang says it's just low blood sugar. She just needs to eat some candy because of her good behavior. Lately the guard gives her 2 pieces of candy as a reward. At night snores fill the dorm, but Heimei lies awake. Yuexiang knows she's thinking about the past. Those memories haunt her like nightmares. She can't find peace. Yuexiang imagines what her life was like in that so-called home as an adopted orphan. She only got food if she behaved well. But the better she performed, the more her foster father used her. To survive, she had to learn bad things from others. She stole and robbed. Just as the memories overwhelm her and she can barely breathe, Yuexiang unwraps a piece of candy. Yuexiang carefully puts a candy in her mouth. Heimei once said, "Candy helps you sleep better." Yuexiang used to laugh at her. In her mind, she thought grown-ups shouldn't believe such things. But now, seeing the smile on her face, Yuexiang suddenly understands Heimei doesn't really think candy can make her sleep. It's the small, sweet hope that helps her through long nights. Just like how Yuexiang always looks at Mao Mao's photo. She doesn't expect to get out by looking at it. She's afraid life will get too hard. So hard she forgets why she keeps going. Looking back at her life, Yuexiang feels she always lived for others. She married Baojin so her brother could get married. She did illegal things to pay for Mao Mao's ear surgery. Now in prison, it feels like the first time she's living for herself. No need to please others. No need to count every penny. No waking up at night worrying about money. Yuexiang treats Heimei so well because Heimei is different from her. She sees a wild spirit in Heimei, a stubbornness life hasn't worn down yet. She wants to protect that spirit, like protecting the girl she was before marrying Baojin. She hasn't been crushed by life yet. Soon it's mid-autumn, festival day. The cafeteria is extra lively. The air is full of holiday cheer, but the Xianjiangwa group stays away from the crowd. They finish their makeup early and wait to perform. Yuexiang secretly brings 2 bananas. She gives one to Heimei. Hu Ping sees this. She says in a mocking tone, You can eat bananas here, but taking them out is against the rules. The show on stage continues, but Yue Xiang isn't watching. Her attention is drawn by noise from the crowd. A child at the next table won't stop crying. The mother in prison clothes tries everything, but can't calm the baby. Yue Xiang looks at the child. Her heart feels squeezed tight. Her breathing becomes uneven. She hasn't seen her daughter in over a year. Is her daughter doing okay? Is someone taking care of her? Is she eating on time? Countless questions spin in her head. She excuses herself to the bathroom and leaves, but she can't escape her guilt and longing. It won't go away. She bangs her head against the bars. Heimei quietly follows her. Heimei sees Yue Xiang's small and helpless figure. Her heart aches for her, but she doesn't know what to do. She can only stand quietly by her side. Just then Hu Ping comes over and pushes them to go on stage. She roughly pulls Yue Xiang's hair. Heimei instantly loses her temper. She grabs Hu Ping's neck from behind. The strength from her small body is shocking. Luckily, a guard arrives in time. She stops them. The situation doesn't get worse. The performance continues as planned, but after the show they are still made an example of. They are locked in solitary confinement. Later they hear the prison leaders are unhappy with this punishment. A leader says in a meeting, punishment is not the goal. The goal is to reform prisoners, to help them change for the better. Every prisoner who leaves here must truly understand the crimes they committed and the harm they caused to society and their families. Otherwise our reform efforts have failed. Deng Hong feels uneasy hearing this. To find out why Yue Xiang broke down, she decides to investigate further. She takes a police officer to visit Yue Xiang's home. Yue Xiang's living conditions are worse than Deng Hong imagined. Deng Hong walks through several mahjong rooms. Finally, she finds Yue Xiang's husband Bao Jin in the innermost room in the middle of the day. He is still asleep. The bed is so greasy it reflects his shadow. Deng Hong tells him about Yue Xiang in prison. He doesn't care at all. Instead, he keeps complaining. Deng Hong asks, "Where is Yue Xiang's child?" Yue Xiang's husband says casually, "Gone." Deng Hong is shocked. "Gone, listen. Abandoning a child is a crime. Do you know that? Then arrest me," he says. "I don't even have enough food to eat. I might as well join that unlucky woman in jail." Happy now. Deng Hong is so angry she clenches her teeth with the officer forcing him. Bao Jin reluctantly goes to give a statement. Later Deng Hong asks the neighbors and learns how terrible Yue Xiang's husband is. He always wanted to abandon the child. He has no love for Yue Xiang either, because she didn't give him a son. Their daughter is also deaf. Yue Xiang often gets beaten by him, but he has a tiny bit of conscience. He didn't sell their daughter. Instead, he leaves the baby at the orphanage gate. Deng Hong visits the orphanage. When she sees Yue Xiang's daughter, she finally understands why Yue Xiang turned to illegal work. Yue Xiang's daughter stands on a toy staring blankly at her. Her lonely expression breaks Deng Hong's heart. Back at the prison, Deng Hong asks Yue Xiang, "Have you called your family since being locked up?" Yue Xiang replies, "Yes." They won't answer. They think I'm dirty. Deng Hong is too upset to speak. She just pats Yue Xiang's head gently over and over. She tells her to focus on reforming herself. Yue Xiang knows Deng Hong cares for her. She also admires Deng Hong's selfless motherly love. After Yue Xiang rejoins the group, Deng Hong explains the meaning of their team name, Sunflower. First, it means facing the sun. Second, it means standing together. She leads by example, even skipping her own birthday celebration with family. Instead, she brings a food cart to cell 9 and serves the inmates sesame oil noodles. Yue Xiang excitedly tells Heimei it's the best meal she's ever had. Heimei stays silent. Yue Xiang understands. For an orphan like Heimei, it's the same for her. 2 years pass quickly. Yue Xiang and Heimei finish their prison terms together. They finally regain their freedom. Deng Hong gives them release funds. She also brings Yue Xiang's phone. It has a new SIM card and 200 yuan credit. This is Deng Hong's farewell gift. Yue Xiang bows deeply to Deng Hong. She thanks her for the care these 2 years. When the heavy iron door slowly opens, sunlight and greenery come into view. Yue Xiang and Heimei almost burst into tears. They walk away without looking back. They want to leave the past behind. They want a fresh start. But just outside the prison gate, Deng Hong gives Yue Xiang bad news. She says Bao Jin abandoned Yue Xiang's daughter. Yue Xiang freezes in shock. She can't believe her ears. Abandoned? Deng Hong says, "Don't act rashly. The child is in an orphanage now. I visited her for you. She's well taken care of there." Deng Hong waited to tell her this because she didn't want to affect Yue Xiang's rehabilitation. But when Yue Xiang sees her child's photo, Her bottled-up motherly love turns to rage. Yue Xiang screams that she wants to kill Bao Jin, that heartless monster. Deng Hong says, "What are you saying? You just walked out of prison and now you're talking like a criminal. Did these 2 years of reform mean nothing to you?" Deng Hong tells her Bao Jin is already in prison. The most important thing now is to find a job and raise your daughter well. Deng Hong writes the orphanage address and her phone number on the back of the photo. Before they part, Deng Hong says there are 2 jobs where you never say goodbye. One is a doctor, the other is ours. Go on. Before Yue Xiang can thank her, Deng Hong returns to work. For these 2 years of care, Yue Xiang can only hold it in her heart. Yue Xiang and Heimei stand at the prison gate taking a precious photo, together with their phones. Then they go their separate ways. Yue Xiang heads to the orphanage to get her daughter. Heimei follows Mike back to the thieves' den. Mike gestures about throwing a welcome party for Heimei, but deep down they both know that new life in the thieves' den is more like a dead end. Watching them walk away, Yue Xiang's eyes are full of worry. But fate doesn't give her time to be sad. Soon life hits her with another blow. Yue Xiang wants to bring her daughter home, but after meeting the kindergarten director, she loses the courage to even admit she's her mother. She has no permanent address. She doesn't have a steady income. She can barely support herself. How can she take care of her daughter? Yue Xiang stares at her daughter's photo again and again. Finally, she puts it back in her bag. Her heart feels empty. The pain is unbearable. She tells herself things will get better once she finds a job, but she doesn't expect how hard it will be. Finding work feels impossible. She wanders the streets all day. No one hires her. Then she sees a hotel hiring housekeepers. Yue Xiang cherishes this chance. She works hard, even doing the dirtiest jobs. But on her second day, the manager calls her to the security room. A guest claims his watch is missing. He blames Yue Xiang. There's no proof in the cameras. The guest threatens to call the police. Hearing this, the manager panics. The manager rushes into the girl's dorm and searches Yue Xiang's personal belongings. They don't find the watch, but they find Yue Xiang's prison release papers. The manager holds up the papers and shouts at Yue Xiang, "What is this? Prison release papers. You hid your criminal past from us. No wonder. Tell the truth. Where did you hide the watch?" "I didn't steal it," the guest says. "I want her searched right now." The manager asks an older co-worker to help search her. Then he tries to lead the guest out, but the guest refuses to leave. He insists on staying to watch. He says he doesn't trust the hotel anymore. Yue Xiang knows he just wants to take advantage to prove her innocence and keep her job. Yue Xiang takes off her shirt, but the irony is, before she can put her clothes back on, the guest gets a call saying his friend found the watch after hanging up. The guest looks embarrassed. "Sorry, we were wrong. The watch is found." The manager says, "Oh good, the watch is found. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to prove our innocence, even if we jumped into the Yellow River." The manager continues about this matter. "Even though you were wrongly accused, you have a criminal record. We can't risk hiring you anymore." The manager's words hit Yue Xiang like a heavy rock. They crush all her hopes. She thought if she worked hard and stayed out of trouble, she could earn a living like a normal person. But now she sees she was too naive. The way they look at her is no different from how some prison guards looked at inmates. As if people like her are born with a thief's nature. Even if she washes clean, she's still dirty inside. The manager finds her release papers like finding solid proof that she just left prison yesterday, so she must be planning another crime. Yue Xiang remembers how hopeful she felt when released. Now it feels ridiculous. She thought freedom meant leaving prison walls, but the real walls are in people's hearts. These walls are harder and colder than prison bars. They trap people tightly inside, leaving no room to move. After leaving the hotel, she walks aimlessly down the street. She doesn't know where to go. Then she spots a familiar figure. Heimei is kneeling on the ground, begging from kind strangers. Many people offer her help. After using sign language to talk, she learns what happened to Heimei after prison. It turns out after Heimei got out, Mike took her for a nice meal. She tells Mike she doesn't want to go back. Mike looks up in disbelief. Seeing she's serious, his face turns angry and cruel. He grabs Heimei's hand and presses a lit cigarette into it. Heimei doesn't pull away or beg for mercy. Instead, she forces a weak smile. But soon the smile turns to pain. Still, she doesn't back down. Mike sees she's determined to leave. He doesn't answer directly. Instead, he goes to a phone shop next door, takes out 4 bills, buys a phone and a SIM card, and hands them to Heimei. Mike gestures and says, "You can't do anything without a phone. I may be a thief, but I bought this with my own money. Get far away and don't come back. I'll take the blame with Dad for you. Mike can't bear to see Heimei return to the thieves' den. He says, I'll take the fall for you, then turns and leaves. Heimei cries her eyes out. She knows how cruel Dad can be. Those words, I'll take the fall, mean everything. She grabs her bag and runs after him. She hugs Mike tightly. This hug feels like goodbye forever. Mike pulls away. He wipes Heimei's tears. He tells her to stay strong. Later Heimei tries to stay at a motel, but without an ID. The front desk turns her away. She finds an abandoned car in the parking lot, pries open the door, and stays there. When she wakes up the next day, 2 security guards catch her. The guards scare her. They snatch her bag and search through her things, finding her prison release money and papers. They threaten to take the money. Fresh out of prison, huh? This money's stolen, right? Should we call the police? Or will you pay for your stay here? You choose. His partner says, this girl has had a hard life. Forget it. Leave her some money. Go get out of here. Now. With no money, Heimei starts begging. After hearing Heimei's story, Yuexiang decides to start a new life with her. Yuexiang finds a place for them in the slums. It's a rundown building right next to the train tracks. The roof leaks. The windows let in cold air, dust and decay are everywhere. The landlord is very shrewd. Rent is 200 yuan a month. Mats and mosquito nets cost extra. Though the place is terrible, Yuexiang still rents it for 2 months because all she cares about is bringing her daughter back. They collect scrap by day and sew in small workshops at night. They even test cosmetics for extra money. But Heimei's lips swell from an allergic reaction. The doctor looks at her face and asks in disbelief, how much did they pay you? How much did they pay you to test products on your face? 100 yuan each time. We did it 3 times. How did you do the math? This money isn't even enough for medicine. Heimei's allergic reaction ruins all their hard work. These days they don't even earn enough to buy medicine, with no way out. Yuexiang smiles bitterly and tells Heimei, if we can't get money soon, when my period comes next month, you'll steal pads for me. Seeing a rich woman and a cheating wealthy man. Yuexiang even urges Heimei to steal their wallets. She jokes about stealing a police officer's gun too. Of course, these are just jokes, but behind the jokes is their desperate struggle. The next day they decide to pull off a big scam. Wearing police uniforms bought online, they boldly walk into the tobacco factory. They plan to borrow money from Hu Ping's father, pretending to be prison officers. But the guard tells them the factory director is a woman. She doesn't have a daughter in jail, or any kids at all. There is a worker named Hu in the drying room. He usually wears permed hair and a fake gold watch. People joke and call him Director Hu, but he was executed long ago for drug dealing. At first Yuexiang doesn't believe it, until they find Hu Ping's old home in the countryside. The rundown house is even shabbier than where they live. They look around. Not a single decent piece of furniture is there. The grandma sees guests arrive. She quickly gets up from bed to greet them, hearing they're Hu Ping's prison officers. Grandma holds the officer's hand and says, my granddaughter was the sweetest girl. Those drugs ruined her. Yuexiang says, take care of yourself. Hu Ping will be back in 2 years. Yuexiang can't bring herself to ask for money. She says a quick goodbye and leaves. Yuexiang never expected this Hu Ping, who everyone calls rich and pretty. Her family home is so poor. Heimei feels sorry for the grandma. She tells Yuexiang she wants to give her 500 yuan. They'll split the cost. Yuexiang says, we came to collect money, not to give charity. But Heimei insists this time. She takes out her half and asks Yuexiang for the rest. Yuexiang says she has no money. She tells Heimei to pay first. Heimei doesn't hesitate at all. Heimei hands over 500 yuan without hesitation. Looking at the money, Yuexiang gets a bad idea. She goes inside the house. Seeing no one around, she secretly keeps 200 for herself. Yuexiang isn't greedy, but after prison earning money is hard. Her daughter at the orphanage is still waiting for her. She tells the grandma the remaining 300 yuan is Hu Ping's gift. She gives it to the old woman. She tells her to buy whatever she wants. But the grandma says, I won't spend this. I'll save it for my granddaughter. Her voice is as soft as wind through dry grass. But every word hits Yuexiang's heart. She remembers how Heimei insisted on giving 500 yuan. She even called her foolish. In her mind, she thought people like them float like grass on water. Who has time to care about others? But now she understands. Heimei isn't foolish. She's purer than Yuexiang. Her hands have stolen, but her heart is clearer than anyone's. She knows what to take and what to give. The 500 yuan may not fix Hu Ping's mistake. It won't give them the peace they want, but at least it can help the old woman. While waiting for her granddaughter to come home, she can have one more bowl of warm porridge and eat fewer cold buns. After Yuexiang gives the remaining 200 yuan, before she even leaves the gate, Heimei comes over with a stern face. She knows Yuexiang too well. Without a word, she starts searching her body. She checks every part of her. She even looks under her hat, but she finds nothing. Heimei gives Yuexiang a thumbs up. Yuexiang uses sign language to say, "I'm an idiot too." Yuexiang never expected this small act of kindness would later save her life. They find work selling energy drinks at the square. They wear revealing clothes and shout loudly to attract customers. They endure countless stares and rude comments. They only earn 800 yuan in commission, but when it's time to get paid, the boss keeps Heimei's share. He says Heimei is ungrateful for throwing a drink at a customer who admired her. Yuexiang holds back her disgust and flirts with the boss. But the boss has other plans. He tells Heimei to leave first. He says he wants to talk to Yuexiang alone. Yuexiang learns she must sell her body to get Heimei's money back. She doesn't hesitate. She makes up an excuse to send Heimei away. As Heimei turns to leave, Yuexiang can't stop her tears, not from fear, but from anger. Anger at this cruel world. Why is it so hard to earn an honest living? Yuexiang hates her helplessness. She can't even protect Heimei. Even the money for her daughter's ear treatment must come from selling herself. Yuexiang plans to do a striptease to make the boss pay Heimei, but he tries to force himself on her. Yuexiang warns, "No forcing. I'll dance for you. Watch only. No touching. Pay my sister after." The boss yells, "You think I don't know what you are?" Heimei hears the noise and returns. She grabs a bottle and throws it at the boss, but their fight back means nothing to him. The scumbag knocks Heimei down, then kicks and punches her. Yuexiang can't take it anymore. She grabs the scumbag's neck from behind. She's ready to fight him to the death, but she's still no match for him. The scumbag breaks free. He pins Yuexiang against the window. Yuexiang faces reality. She pulls out money from her pocket. She begs him to let them go. Just take the money. But he says, "You think money will solve this? You still haven't served me yet." Yuexiang yells, "I just got out of prison. If you don't kill us, I'll stab you to death." Seeing Yuexiang's murderous rage, Heimei quickly jumps at the scumbag. Before things get worse, she pulls Yuexiang away. They run desperately onto the overpass, but the scumbag chases them. He curses and threatens them. They sprint across the overpass. Suddenly heavy rain pours down. They're soaked to the bone. Yuexiang tries to light a cigarette to calm down, but the pack is empty. This misery is the last straw. Yuexiang snaps and screams at Heimei. She says Heimei's beer bottle smashed her hope of reuniting with her daughter. Heimei uses sign language to say she doesn't want Yuexiang to get hurt. But Yuexiang says she only cares about money. All she wants is to bring her daughter back. Nothing else matters. Heimei signs, "You're disgusting." Yuexiang says, "I took you to scam money. We got nothing. I even lost 500 bucks. I tried to sell you, but you wouldn't let me. Who do you think I am? What am I even worth? Get out." Back in that greasy little room, Yuexiang had already prepared for the worst. As long as she could get money, as long as she could get closer to Mao Mao's cochlear implant, she was willing to do anything. She wasn't a good person anyway. To Yuexiang, pride means less than a piece of bread. But Heimei had to barge in. She had to ruin everything. She thought she was saving her. But that hit didn't just break the man's head. It also shattered Yuexiang's last bit of courage. But Yuexiang knows Heimei meant well. She didn't want to watch Yuexiang go down the wrong path again. After Yuexiang calms down, she worries about Heimei. She grabs an umbrella and goes looking for her. She finds Heimei buying a bottle of liquor and Yuexiang's favorite brand of cigarettes. Yuexiang quietly holds the umbrella over her. Back home, Heimei angrily throws the cigarettes at Yuexiang. Yuexiang says, "I thought you left. Why buy me cigarettes?" Heimei replies, "Why look for me instead of that jerk?" Yuexiang says, "You're my clingy dog." After going through so much together, they've become like real sisters. After trying different things, they decide begging works best. At least no one bullies them, and they don't lose money. Yuexiang pretends to be blind, while Heimei fakes having AIDS. They beg on the streets together. But a girl who once donated to Heimei recognizes her. "Weren't you mute before? Now you have AIDS. Give back the 20 yuan you tricked from me." Yuexiang pushes the girl away and tries to run with Heimei, but the girl won't let go. She keeps pulling at them. In the end, all three of them end up at the police station. This trip to the station catches the attention of Deng Hong, their former supervisor. To Yuexiang's surprise, Deng Hong also knows the girl. It turns out all three came from the same place. They were all in the same correctional facility before. After leaving the station, Deng Hong learns about their situation. She finds out Heimei has been staying with Yue Xiang to keep them from going down the wrong path again. Deng Hong promises to help. If they can't find jobs, they can come to her for support. She says their fight actually brought them together. She tells them to make a group chat and check in at least once a week. After Deng Hong leaves, Yue Xiang invites the girl to her place. The three drink together and chat over some skewered snacks. Yue Xiang learns the girl's name is Guo Mei. She got a 1-year sentence for selling endangered animals. With 1-year probation, Yue Xiang says, "We've all made mistakes. No judging here. We're all in the same boat. Our fight brought us together." As they drink, all their past conflicts are forgiven. The next day, Deng Hong visits their place. She plans to help them find suitable jobs, but before any job is settled, she spots a police uniform hanging in the room. She angrily asks, "Deng Hong, where did this police uniform come from?" "Yue Xiang, we bought it online." "Deng Hong, why did you buy a police uniform?" "Yue Xiang, to scare off bad luck." "Deng Hong, you're lying. Do you know? Buying police uniforms without permission is illegal. What were you planning to do with them?" Later, Deng Hong explains the truth to Hu Ping's grandparents. She tells them about their fake police act, but the grandparents think they're good people. They decide not to blame them. After helping them clean up the mess, Deng Hong pulls strings everywhere. She even uses her own reputation as a guarantee. She gets them a chance to sell locks. This job is perfect for them. Heimei uses tools to pick locks. She opens 3 security doors in just over 20 seconds, but when it comes to the lock they're selling, it doesn't budge. Even after a minute, Yue Xiang seizes the moment and tells the audience, "Buying our lock, don't you feel much safer?" The audience replies, "Yes. Spending 388 to stop thieves is worth it." After hearing Yue Xiang's words, the audience starts taking out their money. At that moment, they feel hope for life again. To celebrate them finding jobs again, Deng Hong invites them to her home. Yue Xiang says, "I'm not good with fancy words, so I'll say it all with this drink." Deng Hong says, "Actually, you should thank Guo Mei the most. Did you give her the promised red envelope?" Yue Xiang replies, "Yes, you're better at business than us. If there's another chance to make money, don't forget about us." Guo Mei says, "No problem, cheers." Yue Xiang wonders why Deng Hong is so kind to people who made mistakes. She feels curious about it. After she keeps asking, Deng Hong finally explains. Deng Hong's father used to work at a labor camp. Once he took prisoners to clear ice from a bridge. Outside the factory, a prisoner found an abandoned baby under the bridge. As the prisoner carried the baby back, he stepped on weak ice. Everyone rushed to help. The prisoner pushed the baby onto safe ice, but he didn't make it out. Yue Xiang knows that the child Deng Hong talking about was herself. Deng Hong's life was saved by that prisoner. That's why Deng Hong is treating those of them who have made mistakes so attached. In Deng Hong's opinion, a criminal is not the same as an evil person. Everyone who has made a mistake all deserve a chance to reform. 1 month after selling locks, they get their cut. It's a full $20,000. Looking at this huge amount of money, both of them have long-lost smiles on their faces. The boss proposes to make another, more complete video and post it online. That way they get a national commission. Yue Xiang is so excited. Finally, she's about to make enough money to get her daughter a cochlear implant. And she gets all excited. But Heimei is unusually resistant. Making a video is like killing her. Yue Xiang flashes a picture of her daughter. Take Heimei by the hand and say all the nice things, almost begging her. 10:23. But Heimei takes out the $20,000 from before. Say it in sign language. It's their joint money. 10:25. She doesn't want it. Just please don't let her make a video. Yue Xiang doesn't understand why Heimei is so resistant to take videos. The two of them get into a fight in anger. Yue Xiang raises her arm without thinking, but she can't bring herself to hit Heimei. Yue Xiang yells at Heimei to leave. Heimei storms off angrily. Heimei takes away Yue Xiang's daughter's future. She also ends their sisterhood. The next day, Yue Xiang brings 20,000 yuan to the orphanage. She insists on taking her daughter Mao Mao home. But the director tells Yue Xiang with a serious face, a couple wants to adopt Mao Mao. Yue Xiang refuses right away. But the director says, this isn't a piece of clothing. You can't just throw it away when you don't want it, and then take it back on a whim. This is a life. Yue Xiang says, I'm her real mother. Even if I were a dog, I'd have the right to raise my own pup. The director says, your husband is her father too. Of course you have the right to say no. We won't go against your wishes. The director adds, the adoptive parents promise to get her a cochlear implant. They'll also send her abroad for better education. These are things you, as her birth mother, can't provide. This puts Yuexiang in a tough spot. If she refuses the adoption, her daughter will have no future. But giving up her own child, how can Yuexiang say those words? As a mother thinking of this, Yuexiang can't stop her tears. She looks at the director. The director's face shows no room for discussion. Her expression is firm. Yuexiang knows begging won't help. Maybe they're right. If Mao Mao stays with Yuexiang, she'll only repeat her mother's hard life. People will point fingers at her. She'll feel ashamed. With that couple, Mao Mao can have a new life. She can hear sounds. She can grow up like a normal child. But Yuexiang's heart feels like a piece is missing. It feels empty. The pain takes her breath away. After leaving the orphanage, Yuexiang passes a train station. She sees a tall tower. Without thinking, she climbs up. She walks unsteadily on the tower. Just when she feels completely hopeless, Heimei comes running back. Heimei waves desperately below, but Yuexiang doesn't see her. Heimei is extremely worried. She's afraid Yuexiang might hurt herself. Suddenly, Heimei shouts, "Sis, don't do anything stupid, come down." After Yuexiang comes down, she asks Heimei why she always pretended to be mute. Heimei tells her, for people like us, using hands is safer than speaking. Even if the police catch us, they can't question us easily. Heimei says she talked too much as a child. Her father poured boiling water down her throat. She can speak, but she's afraid of being punished again. After saying this, Heimei apologizes to Yuexiang. Yuexiang hugs her tightly. She's too heartbroken to speak. Yuexiang promises never to say harsh words again. She won't let Heimei be afraid anymore. With this support, Heimei gains great courage. Together they film the video they always wanted to make. After the video goes online, in just 5 days they sell 2,000 locks. They earn a 30,000 yuan bonus. But Heimei's father soon sees the video. Mike gets hit hard with a lock by his father. Blood runs down his head. His father asks why he lied to him. Didn't you say she got more prison time? You lied to me. After Heimei and Yuexiang leave the factory, they see Mike has been waiting there for a long time. When they notice the wound on Mike's head, Heimei cries with guilt. Things have come to this point. She has no choice but to return to the thieves' den. After all, her life matters, and so does Mike's. Deep down, she knew this day would come. Not making the video would leave Yuexiang with no way out, but making it would put Mike in danger. You see, now this is our fate. If I don't go back, he will die. Go back home. Never come looking for me. We won't see each other again. Just give me my share of the money. After saying this, she gets into Mike's car and leaves. Yuexiang thinks, I should have known. Heimei never wanted to make the video because she didn't want to hurt Mike. She knew the video would reach his father. She knew what would happen if she went back. But Heimei still records the video, but she's not stupid. She just wants to use this last bit of light to guide Yuexiang and Mao Mao. Heimei always calls Yuexiang's sister, but she protects her more like a sister than anyone else. As soon as Heimei leaves, Yuexiang goes to find Deng Hong, asking her to help get Heimei out. But the thieves' den has already turned into a legal funeral business. Nothing illegal happened, so the police can't do anything. I angrily yell at Deng Hong. What kind of family or foster father is this? You cops just stand by and do nothing. What the hell are you wearing that uniform for? Deng Hong snaps back. Who are you cursing at? Without this uniform, I'm still your sister. I can let you insult me, but when I'm in uniform, you don't get to swear at me. Heimei would rather beg than steal again, but the money she earns still goes back to that thieves' den. And you say everything they do is legal. We're the ones. Everyone can push around. Everyone can walk all over us. Legal business. What a joke. Expecting you to protect us. Don't kid yourself, Yuexiang. Deng Hong says I'm speaking human words to you, but you're answering with nonsense. Are you really that unwilling to walk the right path? Dignity isn't given by others. It grows in your own heart. I feel sorry for you. I'm helping you find a way out, but I won't tolerate your nonsense with me. The police can't do anything about them. Yuexiang decides to take matters into her own hands. Yuexiang goes alone to the thieves' den. As soon as she enters, she puts down all her savings, 50,000 yuan. Yuexiang glares fiercely at the boss, demanding Heimei. The boss says Heimei should decide for herself. Under his questioning, Heimei says she wants to leave. Mike quickly steps forward to cover her mouth in panic, but it's too late. The boss pushes her before the ancestral tablet. He coldly brings out a silver ingot. He says, Heimei can leave, but must leave her skills behind. This is the rule here. He then smashes it hard onto her hand. Heimei's right hand is crushed, bloody. Yuexiang thought after crushing the hand, Heimei could finally leave. But to her surprise, the boss took her skills, but still won't let her go. He says, the cost of raising Heimei since childhood, 50,000 yuan, is not enough. Her hand is useless now, but her belly still works. The old man says, did you see her sisters at the door? I'll make you a deal. Get pregnant, sell the babies to pay your debt. Hearing this, Yuexiang feels anger rising from her feet to her head. Her eyes turn red with rage. All the pain Baojin caused her, all the bullying she endured, all the dignity she lost for her daughter. Now everything comes rushing back. Seeing the old man's smug face, hearing Heimei's painful cries, Yuexiang can't hold back anymore. She grabs the gold ingot and smashes it on the old man's head. Yuexiang yells, you, monster, I'll kill you, I'll beat you to death, I'll murder you. Heimei screams, stop, you'll kill him, stop hitting, he'll really die. The police finally arrive. The old man stops moving. Covered in blood, he's carried away on a stretcher. Heimei is taken to the hospital too. Before the ambulance leaves, she uses sign language to tell Yuexiang, just say I did it. When Yuexiang arrives at the hospital, the old man is still in critical condition. She prays silently that he doesn't die. If he dies, it becomes a murder case. The doctor says his injuries can be treated, but he urgently needs a blood transfusion. The problem is he has a rare blood type. The rescue effort hits a dead end. The hospital gets a lead from the blood bank. At the women's prison in the city, there's an inmate with the same blood type, and that person turns out to be Hu Ping. Hu Ping refuses to donate blood at first, until the counselor shows her a phone and lets her video call her grandparents. Her grandparents say they received the money she sent earlier. Hu Ping looks shocked because she never sent any money. Deng Hong takes the phone and tells her Heimei and Yuexiang visited Hu Ping's family and left some money for the elderly. Her grandparents urge her to help if she can. Finally, Hu Ping agrees to donate blood. 5 years later, Yuexiang is released from prison. During that time, Heimei and the other women started the sunflower car wash together. They not only brought back Yuexiang's daughter, they also raised money to get the girl a cochlear implant. When Yuexiang sees her daughter again, she feels all the past hardships were worth it. Heimei says, come see our car wash. Hu Ping also works there. Yuexiang teases, wow, the rich girl is working now. Great, our sunflower team is back together. To others, Yuexiang and Heimei's story might seem messy and foolish, but they know how hard they've fought for every step. People call them losers and criminals, saying they'll never turn their lives around. But those people don't understand. Flowers can bloom even in mud. Like Yuexiang and Heimei, no matter how many times life knocks them down, they always help each other back up in life. People may take wrong turns or fall hard, but as long as hope remains and loved ones stand beside them, they'll always find courage to rise again, like sunflowers that endure storms at night, then lift their faces when morning comes, reaching bravely for the light. Hiroko lies still on the snow with her eyes closed, holding her breath. She stays like this until she feels dizzy and weak from lack of air. Finally, Hiroko opens her eyes and gasps for breath. Her fiancé, Fuji, died 2 years ago in a mountain climbing accident. She does this to feel what Fuji might have felt before his death. She wants to feel closer to Fuji. Even though Fuji has been gone for 2 years, Hiroko still can't let go of her feelings for him. But people don't share the same sorrows and joys. Time has already washed away the past. At the memorial for Fuji's second death anniversary, after the sad ceremony ends, people chat while drinking warm sake, waiting for a night of eating and drinking. Only Hiroko stays behind, quietly praying at the grave. After the memorial, Hiroko follows Fuji's mom to his house. When Hiroko sees the familiar oil paintings and easel, memories flood back. Fuji's mom brings out his high school yearbook, pointing at Fuji's photo. She sighs and says, black and white photos feel unlucky. Then she changes the subject and goes to get cake. At that moment, Hiroko finds Fuji's middle school address book. When she sees Fuji's name, a fairy tale-like idea comes to her. She writes the address on her arm, filled with all her feelings for Fuji. She sends a letter to that address, a greeting to heaven. But Hiroko doesn't know yet. The address she copied actually belongs to a girl from Fuji's middle school who shares the same name. Hiroko's letter brings back long-forgotten memories for the girl Fuji. The girl Fuji's reply reveals a secret Fuji was supposed to take to heaven. This becomes the key for Hiroko to free herself from sadness and start a new life. Are you okay? I'm fine. Are you okay? Hiroko's letter doesn't reach heaven, as she hoped. Instead it goes to the girl Fuji. Seeing Hiroko Watanabe's name on the envelope, the girl Fuji starts remembering. She opens the letter curiously, but it only has two simple greetings. Fuji, are you okay? I'm fine. The girl Fuji takes off her mask confused, revealing a face very similar to Hiroko's. Her name is indeed Fuji, but she doesn't know this woman named Hiroko Watanabe. When the girl Fuji asks about it, Fuji's mom says she might have just forgotten. The unanswered question keeps the girl Fuji awake at night, so she decides to write back to Hiroko. Dear Hiroko Watanabe, I'm fine too, but I have a cold these days. Before she even prints the letter, the girl Fuji can't help but laugh. Soon the girl Fuji gets Hiroko's reply. The letter is full of Hiroko's kindness. She even sends some cold medicine. Hiroko takes the letter to her boyfriend Akaba. Akaba is also a friend she and Fuji shared. Hiroko smiles and tells Akaba about sending the letter. Even though Fuji's mom said Fuji's old address in Ataru is now a road, Hiroko still mailed a letter there, a letter to heaven. But now Hiroko miraculously got a reply. Though Akaba says it must be someone's prank, Hiroko still feels happy because her feelings finally have somewhere to go. Akaba feels a bit hurt and jealous. Hiroko and Akaba are dating now, but Hiroko can't stop thinking about her late fiancé Fuji. Hiroko feels guilty toward Fuji in her relationship with Akaba. This conflict makes it hard for her to accept Akaba's love. Fuji gets Hiroko's third letter. Hiroko shares her joy about cherry blossoms starting to bloom. Spring will come soon. But Fuji feels uneasy and scared because spring and cherry blossoms remind her of death. Fuji realizes Hiroko isn't really writing to her to check her thoughts. Fuji quickly writes back to ask who Hiroko thinks she is. This person acts like she's the real Fuji. What if she really is? When Hiroko keeps pretending not to understand, still lost in her dream, Akaba seriously tells her it's not real. But Hiroko's sad face makes Akaba soften. He lets Hiroko keep dreaming, but promises to find out the truth. Akaba secretly sends another letter as Hiroko. He asks her to prove she's really Fuji. Fuji finds it annoying to prove her own identity. But to stop these strange letters from coming again, she copies her driver's license and sends it to Hiroko. Hiroko and Akaba are shocked when they get the letter. They didn't expect another girl with the same name in Ataru. But unlike Akaba's playful mood, Hiroko looks heartbroken. The copy seems to shatter her self-deception. When Akaba rudely calls Fuji an enemy and invites Hiroko to visit Ataru, Hiroko angrily says she's not an enemy. She thinks Akaba's words are too harsh. She says it's over now and hands Fuji's letter to Akaba. Hiroko says, I thought he wrote the letter. I wish it were true, but it's over now. Akaba tries to act relaxed and tells Hiroko to stop thinking about it. But when he sees Hiroko carefully unfolding the letter again, he knows she's still lying to herself. Akaba says, Fuji is dead. How could he write to you? He laughs bitterly, recalling their first meeting. He never thought Fuji, who was too shy to talk to girls, would propose to Hiroko right after meeting her. Akaba jokes that he was the one who invited Fuji that day. He regrets not making a move first. Then Hiroko wouldn't be suffering like this. To help Hiroko stop her unrealistic thoughts, Akaba suggests they go to Ataru to find the other Fuji. He truly hopes Hiroko can free herself from her own sadness and become happy again. Hiroko and Akaba fly to Ataru, but when they find Fuji's address, Hiroko doesn't have the courage to knock on the door. When Akaba asks, Fuji's grandpa says Fuji and her mom will be back soon, but Akaba refuses to wait inside. He and Hiroko wait quietly by the door. They wait for a long time, but Fuji doesn't come back. Akaba gets restless and goes to smoke and kick snow. Hiroko writes a letter to Fuji by the door. She explains that the Fuji she knew was a boy with the same name. He was her past love. She doesn't know where he is now, but she keeps thinking about him. To avoid causing Fuji more trouble, Hiroko crosses out her late fiancé's name. She apologizes for bothering Fuji and says she doesn't have the courage to meet her. She ends the letter as a goodbye. When Hiroko and her friend wave for a taxi, they see someone inside. They don't realize it's the Fuji they're looking for. After Fuji gets out, she finds Hiroko's letter in the mailbox. After reading it, Fuji finally understands why Hiroko wrote to her. Then suddenly, Fuji remembers a boy from middle school who had the same name as her. She apologizes for writing back without permission. Then she writes about the boy she just remembered. Maybe he's the person Hiroko is looking for. The next day when Fuji mails the letter, Hiroko stands nearby watching. Hiroko sees this girl who looks like her and has a cold. As Fuji walks past her, Hiroko suddenly calls out her name without thinking, Fuji. Fuji turns around immediately, but doesn't notice Hiroko disappearing into the crowd. Hiroko clearly sees this girl who looks exactly like her. Hiroko thinks she might just be a replacement for someone else. She feels like a deer that's been shot about to collapse from pain. To check her suspicion, Hiroko rushes to her fiancé's home. In his middle school yearbook photo, she finds a girl who looks like her. Even though she already knows the answer, she points at the girl and asks Fuji's mom, "Does she look like me?" That Fuji's mom says, "She does look like you. What's wrong with that?" Hiroko says, "Then I won't forgive him." She remembers when he proposed. He said it was love at first sight, but while she's still grieving his death, she discovers she was just someone else's replacement. But Fuji's mom feels a little relieved. Since Hiroko feels anger, it means she still deeply loves him in her heart. When you love someone, you naturally want to know everything about them. So Hiroko pours her love into remembering her fiancé's middle school days. In her letter she apologizes for writing so suddenly and asks Fuji for a favor. She hopes Fuji can tell her everything she remembers about her fiancé in detail. But as Fuji writes back with scattered memories of him, Hiroko senses that her fiancé had hidden feelings for Fuji. But Fuji herself doesn't seem to notice. In her stories, most memories of the boy who shared her name are awkward and unpleasant. During roll call, because they had the same name but different genders, they quickly became the class's gossip topic. Whenever they talked in front of classmates, the others would tease them loudly. "So lovey-dovey, so lovey-dovey. Sorry to bother you." The classmates might find it funny, but for the young Fuji and him it was embarrassing and painful. So they avoided being seen together. But the teasing didn't stop. Instead it got worse because they kept avoiding it. During a vote for library helpers, the class leader found a prank ballot, but he loudly read it out. Fuji, heartsuit Fuji. A girl also wrote the same thing on the blackboard because the class planned it together. So only this result appears on the blackboard. The class leader announces Fuji and Fuji as the winners. His congratulations and the classmates clapping make it seem like they're a real couple. When the girl Fuji starts crying and gets teased, the boy Fuji stands up and pushes the noisy boy to the ground. Then he angrily pins the class leader down on the teacher's desk. But the boy just mocks him for not being able to take a joke. His resistance doesn't change anything. In the end, they still get chosen as library workers. The boy Fuji seems unhappy with the result. He always acts lazy and uninterested. He either sits by the bookshelf reading or stands by the window reading with the spring breeze and sunlight shining on him. The girl Fuji suddenly feels there's something different about him. But what confuses her is he often borrows books no one else checks out, and he takes many at once. When she asks him about it, the boy Fuji says he's not borrowing them to read. Instead, he proudly shows her a stack of library cards, all with Fuji written on them. He ignores the girl Fuji's protests and keeps doing it without stopping. This makes her think of him as a weird childish person. After their second-year final exams, the girl Fuji is shocked to see her test score is only 27. But when she checks the handwriting, she happily realizes it's not her test. Then she sees the boy Fuji doodling all over her actual test. But with classmates walking around everywhere, she decides to wait for Fuji after school at the bike shed to confront him. Though this place is famous for school couples meeting, when classmates tease her about it, she just turns her back to them after it gets completely dark. Fuji finally shows up late. When she asks if he took her English test by mistake, Fuji says it's too dark to see clearly and makes her hand crank a light. She notices Fuji comparing their tests word by word, slowly complaining non-stop about being tired, but never slowing her hand movements. They stay like this until very late. Though she finally gets her test back, Fuji has drawn a bikini girl on the back. That day Mary, who likes Fuji, asks her to help set them up. Her polite refusal makes Mary instantly angry. Mary threatens that she's the kind of girl who might do anything. Forced to act, she nervously approaches Fuji to say Mary wants to be friends. But when Fuji avoids looking up, she suddenly gets mad herself. She demands if Fuji likes someone else. As Fuji slowly lifts his head to look at her, she feels a pang of guilt. Fuji says no. She replies, "Good then." His denial instantly changes her attitude. She forcefully drags Mary to meet Fuji. But soon after, Fuji suddenly slams a book down on the front desk. He walks out of the library with an angry face. Fuji quickly runs to check on Mary. She finds Mary leaning against a bookshelf, looking lifeless. Mary mumbles, "This is how relationships always repeat." Maybe it's revenge for her matchmaking. When Fuji sees Mary riding her bike, he rushes down the hill and puts a flour sack over her head. Then, with Mary screaming, Fuji walks away angrily. She doesn't understand why Hiroko likes such a bad boy. Maybe it's karma for Fuji's bad behavior. Fuji gets hit by a truck and breaks his left leg on the way to school. Even though his leg isn't fully healed, he stubbornly shows up at the sports festival a month later. At the same time, a classmate hands Fuji a camera saying, "This will help you see better." As the starting gun fires, Fuji is shocked to see Fuji suddenly run onto the track. But he gets too tired and crashes into another student. He falls hard onto the field. Fuji instinctively presses the shutter and captures everything. But when classmates ask about it, she instead asks how to use the camera. Yet her lens stays focused on Fuji as he's carried away. Hiroko thanks Fuji for her letter. Though she doesn't know all her fiancé's past, she feels this matches Fuji's stubborn and determined personality. A Polaroid camera is also included with the letter. Hiroko asks Fuji to take photos at the sports field. Fuji runs happily through the snow like a child. She takes pictures freely. She also rebuilds old memories. Inside the school building, she meets her former teacher. They chat casually. Then they walk into the library where she once worked. But the students suddenly laugh when they hear her name. When the teacher asks why they show her book cards filled with Fuji, they say they found 87 of them in books. Fuji smiles and explains it was the male Fuji's prank. But the girls say he must have liked her a lot. Otherwise he wouldn't write her name so many times. Their words make Fuji feel awkward and confused. She never thought the male Fuji liked her. Remembering Hiroko's earlier guess, she feels something strange for the first time. Maybe the male Fuji really had feelings for her. When she asks the teacher about him, the teacher's smile disappears. He sadly says Fuji died in a mountain accident 2 years ago. The sudden news shocks Fuji. She remembers middle school. She was happily skiing in the snow. Then she saw a frozen dragonfly. As she looked at it, she suddenly realized her father was gone. Life's fragility fills her with deep sadness. That night her cold gets much worse. She sees the thermometer showing a 41 degrees Celsius fever. It reminds her of her father who died after his cold got worse. When she realizes she might follow the same path as her father, fear and helplessness overwhelm her weak body. Tonight Hiroko also faces a big life decision. Should she run back to her hometown tomorrow and keep drowning in sadness, or face her feelings and let go of the past? Yesterday Akaba hummed Fuji's favorite song and suddenly suggested visiting the mountain where Fuji died to say goodbye to him. After hesitating, Hiroko agrees. They take a night flight to the mountain the next day. As they walk up the winding mountain path, Akaba tells jokes to cheer Hiroko up. But Hiroko suddenly wants to turn back because that mountain is a deep, unhealed wound in her heart. She can't let go, nor can she face it. Akaba knows that without closure people keep swinging between pain and uncertainty, unable to move forward. But Akaba won't force Hiroko to decide. They stand there stuck in silence until the sky turns completely dark. Finally, Hiroko agrees to stay at a friend's place for the night. The friend and Akaba were in the same climbing team as Hiroko's fiancé. The friend has stayed there since the accident, patiently warning new climbers to prevent another tragedy. After that incident, Akaba runs back to his hometown. He becomes afraid of mountain climbing. Or maybe he's afraid to make Hiroko's sadness even worse. Their friend seems to notice Akaba's feelings. The friend quietly glances at Hiroko, then silently pours her a drink. When Hiroko hears them humming a familiar tune together, she thinks it's just a song all climbers like. But the friend sadly tells her this was the song Fuji hummed in his final moments. It's Seiko Matsuda's Blue Lagoon. The song tells a beautiful love story, but the line "My love drifts away south" makes Hiroko's heart ache. Now she realizes the person Fuji thought of before dying was still that girl. Hiroko's certainty begins to crumble. She jokes about how Fuji proposed to her when he took her to Mount Maya's lookout point. He did hold a ring box, but he just stood there silently. They stood looking at each other for 2 whole hours. Finally, Hiroko had to propose to Fuji herself. He only gave a quiet yes. She thought that was just his personality, but now she understands Fuji must have been struggling inside. Hiroko calls these happy memories, but blames herself for wanting more. In the end, Hiroko calls herself a selfish and greedy woman. Early the next morning, Akiba suddenly enters the room and wakes Hiroko from deep sleep. He asks her to get up and watch the sunrise together. Akiba smiles at Hiroko beside him. He points to the mountain where Fuji had his accident. Seeing Hiroko still struggling inside, Akiba shouts at the mountain, "You can trust me with Hiroko now." Then Akiba quietly says to himself, Okay. He encourages Hiroko to speak her heart to her late fiancé. He gives her a firm push forward. With Akiba's encouraging look and in the warmth of the rising sun, Hiroko walks step by step into the distance. Her pace quickens. Emotions build up under the weight of the snow-covered mountains. Finally, they burst out across the endless snowy field. Hiroko shouts, "How are you now?" "I'm fine, and you?" "Hello, Fuji." "I'm fine, and you?" Hiroko's strong feelings cross time and space. They connect all three of them tightly together. They call out Fuji's name again and again. They call out to each other. They also call out to their hidden, true selves. Hiroko heals through deep pain and determination. Her shout to the mountain is both letting go and relief, but it's also heartbreaking pain. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. Those deep feelings of love and longing are already carved into her heart. They become a part of who she is. When Fuji wakes up in the hospital bed, she sees her grandfather in another bed and her mom sitting on a chair. Fuji's fever has gone down. She didn't follow her father's fate. After leaving the hospital, Fuji sends Hiroko one last letter. It describes her final meeting with Fuji. Her father's condition worsened and he passed away. Her mom got sick from too much grief, so Fuji can't go to school. When the new term starts, she needs to take care of the house and her mom. Suddenly Fuji knocks on her door. After an awkward moment, he hands her Remembrance of Things Past to return to school. But just then he notices the funeral notice by the door. He stammers an awkward, "I'm sorry for your loss." Maybe the timing was wrong, or maybe he couldn't find the courage. In the end, Fuji just gives her a hesitant look. This becomes their last meeting. When Fuji returns to school later, she learns Fuji has transferred his usual seat by. The window sits empty with only white curtains blowing. Cherry blossom petals dance in the air. Soon after Fuji receives Hiroko's reply, Hiroko also sends back all their previous letters. She says the memories in her replies belong only to Fuji, so she should return them to her. At the end, she shares her guess. She feels the names on those 87 library cards were actually Fuji's name. Fuji says, "What is going on?" Just then her grandpa tells her something. He planted a tree with her name in the yard when she was born. She happily searches for it in the yard. Even though her father is gone, she still has her loving grandpa and mom. The sun feels warm. Winter will finally pass when spring comes. After the snow melts, the juniors who found the 87 library cards visit her. They bring the book Remembrance of Things Past and ask her to check the last page. She finds a drawing of her middle school self on the card. A deep feeling of warmth fills her heart. After 10 years of changes, the boy Fuji's love letter finally reaches her. Though time has passed and he's gone, this sweet secret crush shines brightly like a timeless light in the years ahead.